my first blog post, and to be honest, I wasn't exactly sure if I'd ever do a blog or a vlog. I always was kind of turned off by the idea, probably due to the fact that the words sound slightly violent, if that makes any sense. It's like one of those words you don't like to say because they sound weird. I decided to start this blog at this time to give you an opportunity to follow along with a trip that I'm about to take. I'm going to be traveling to West Palm Beach, Florida to take the 3-week life change program at the Hippocrates Health Institute. If you're familiar with this institute, I'm sure you understand what it's going to mean for me, and this website, of course, is going to be reflected by my experiences there. And I hope to document a little bit of every day that I spend there, and not just focus on myself, but showing you the grounds, as well as maybe interviewing some of the other guests and teachers, hopefully Brian Clement as well. And it should give you an idea of what it's like to be there during that time. Hopefully, I'll have convinced some of you to think about maybe making the trip yourself one day. I know just from my experiences on a high raw diet, not completely raw, that there are profound levels of internal healing and change that occur. And if you were to go from one extreme place to going to Hippocrates, such as a sad diet, there would definitely be some massive changes. But if you're going from a place where I am, or even more cooked food, it's definitely doable without any massive discomfort, although I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of that even for someone that eats the way I do. So I haven't totally decided how I'll be doing that coverage of the Institute, but what I do know is that I'll be quite busy with my time there, so it won't be day-by-day updates from the Institute, and it'll most likely be some, if not the majority of it, or even all of it, will be posted on the web after my trip, not during. So right now I'd like to show you briefly a tea that I've been making. It's been a base for some smoothies and elixirs that I've made. It's predominantly, or even, yeah, it's actually all Chinese herbs. They're all tonic herbs, and I'll give you a little explanation of the different ones that are in there and what they can do for you. So just follow me into the kitchen here. Alright, so here's my lovely stove. That's got lots of little tea stains on it from brewing. And this is the first batch of the tea in the Vitamix. I usually do 2 batches in a pot this size. This is a ceramic pot, which prevents the tea from absorbing metals, and if it was a Teflon pot, it would be absorbing, I believe, aluminum's in there, and I've even heard that mercury can be found in Teflon. Don't quote me on that. So there's a few things in here. This here is Chinese Orchid. It's got a very golden color, and it's stems and pods, and they've got this white, I don't know if I can break it open here, but they've got this white almost powdery inside, and they that's where most of the properties are. And in Chinese call it He Shou Wu. It's basically a yin tonic, which is good for lower back, sexual dysfunction. It's a Jing herb for sure. It can be consumed daily, even several times daily. It's very safe, and many acupuncturists or even massage practitioners or people in the healing arts will consume it a lot because it's very restorative and strengthening. Another herb in here would be, oh, it's a little hot still, I'm sticking my fingers in it. He Shou Wu, which I just completed an article of. I'll show it to you dry actually. He Shou Wu is also known as Foti root in North America. You can check out the link in the sidebar and read the article I have written about it. And I picked this up at a local Chinese herb shop in Toronto. I've got pictures on the article too you can have a look at. The thinner it is cut, the better. It generally means it's higher quality. Also, the darker the better. Really light, almost like streaked He Shou Wu is supposed to be low quality. I know Mountain Rose Herbs, they sell it in like little chunky cube things. That might be the ideal, simply because that's certified organic. I'm hesitant to recommend people to go to Chinese herb shops because they're not organic usually, and if they are, they're not certified, so you can't trust them. I recently bought some licorice root that when I got home I looked at the ingredients, and most of the ingredients are in Chinese usually, but on this particular package it happened to have the English, and it was full of artificial colors. So I definitely don't recommend buying there unless you know Chinese and can talk to the owners there, or if they speak enough English to understand what you're talking about. Ask them if they have certified organic herbs. So also in there is a Stragglers Root, which I'll show that to you in a moment here. So this is a Stragglers Root. It almost looks like a tongue depressor. It's just the root cut lengthwise, and it's got fairly sweet taste if you were to eat it raw like that. It's not kind of woody. I wouldn't eat it like that. It's definitely good in a tea. Adds a bit of sweetness to it. And this is one of the most well-known Chinese tonic herbs. It is very good for boosting immunity. And I haven't yet written an article about it, but that'll come shortly, and you can read it there at that point. I'll have much more of the scientific side of that. And the last major herb I put in there is the Magnolia Flower. This is almost like a pussy willow bud. It's got like this soft hair on it. I've got a whole bag here. In Chinese it's called Xin Yi, and it is also a yin tonic. He Shou Wu, by the way, is a yin tonic. So this is a very jing-full. It's a jing-full soup, or tea rather. I could make a soup out of it if I wanted, but I'm using this one in an elixir shortly. The Stragglers Root there helps bring in some other elements. It's a little more yang forming in the body. And the other thing I have in here, just for flavor, is Cardamon Seeds. See if they're in there somewhere. They're a lot smaller. I put about 9 of them just for flavor. And they actually also help dry the spleen, which is ideal for raw foodists, as supposedly we get damp spleens. Despite the fears of damp spleens and lack of proper nutrition according to Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, from my experience and from what I've seen in many people and heard a lot of the experts talk about, in the raw food community that is, they seem to think that that's either not really true, or that there's plenty of herbs available to help counteract those conditions, so it shouldn't be a concern or a reason to not have the extreme benefits of the raw food diet. Alright, I think that'll be enough for this video, so I'll see you next time.